Welcome to the Nailed It Wall.
On this week's episode of the Nailed It Wall, we're going to talk about how we ended the 2019 school year. We're going to talk about Mr. Lane's crazy adventures with wishes for teachers, and we're going to talk about what we're looking forward to in the 2020 school year. Buckle up and enjoy the ride. Welcome to episode 26 of the Nailed It Wall. I'm Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And I'm Mrs. Scofield.
Well, today it's an exciting day. We are recording a podcast over winter break. Woo. I can't tell you how many winter breaks we've tried to launch the Nailed It Wall. Would you say the last 3 winter breaks we try to get off the ground?
Yeah, I do remember actually trying to record this in your garage, and it was freezing cold.
Yes, trying to figure out the mics, trying to figure out the settings, how to upload it. There goes my dog running by, but it's just such a great feeling. We are actually recording on winter break because it's been our goal so many winter breaks since that first year of Moxie to really get that podcast off the ground. That was 4 years ago.
That's
so
crazy.
I think the last 3 winter breaks we've tried to figure out how to get our podcast off the ground. Now I think we're becoming seasoned veterans. We're on to episode 26. We've been downloading Brazil, Ghana, Ireland, the UK, Japan, 5 continents. We need to get to 6. We need Australia. We need someone to download in Australia.
And if you know someone in Antarctica, please share it with them.
Yes.
This would be great for those cold days.
Totally. So it's just such a great feeling that the podcast is up. So much great feedback. It's our last podcast of the 2019 year.
Crazy.
And it's kind of crazy to think we've been doing this for 6 months now, and I love all the feedback people give us, things that they enjoy, what they like to listen to, what they catch up on. It's been so much fun doing the podcast.
So much fun.
What's been your highlight of the podcast?
That's a good question. I feel, number one, it's nice to finally, when you set a goal, to be able to finally see that come to fruition, right? Like you said, we've been waiting to do this, and like lots of trial and error. So I like that we have been able to do that, but then I feel like this has really allowed us to get to know some of the people that we know, but we didn't know, on a deeper level. And then it's kind of been a great way to, as a reflection for us, I think.
Oh, totally. I love that part. I love when we have students on.
Mm-hmm.
I love interviewing people, some of those things, just hearing other people's stories and kind of sharing that. And when other people hear those stories, such a cool thing. And we always talked about, this is the future. This is how people kind of connect and get their news. And there's a podcast for anything, anything you want to learn about,
That's
people
true.
that you want to follow, people that you're interested in. There's a podcast for that. And I feel like this AirPod generation, everyone just popping in their AirPods. And, before it was like you can't just watch TV and, you're playing on your phone watching TV. But now it's just like you can't just run to the grocery store. It's like you got your AirPods in, you're listening to a podcast, you're listening to music, you're kind of doing all these things. You're nodding your head in disagreement.
No, I'm not disagreeing. I just didn't realize that I'm missing out. Like usually when I'm running to the grocery store, I'm not thinking pop in my AirPods, but maybe I should be doing that.
I think you should, because anytime I leave the house, I make sure I have my AirPods, mostly because in case I get a phone call. You know me, the city of Glendale has a no cell phone tolerance when you're driving your car. I need to have my AirPods in so I'm hands-free when I take a phone call.
This is hilarious. I love that Brady is such a podcast diva.
Yeah, Brady's making his appearance. He's getting a drink of water right now. But that's the beauty of this podcast. You never know. And we never stop recording.
That's right.
So it just feels so good to have the podcast up and going. I love sharing it with people. You talk about that reach, how you download something. Brady's really thirsty playing with his toy here. Ryan's getting a good chuckle out of that.
Water.
And the fact is that Ryan is quieter than our man Brady as we're recording this podcast.
No.
Now, the cool thing with this podcast being released is the impact it's had and how much we get to kind of reflect with every week that's kind of passed. Now, we had a great end to 2019. Talk to us about your Christmas sweaters and your Kessler post and the ending of your 2019 school year with your kids.
Man, that last day was pretty awesome. So I did the Christmas sweater competition, which I wanted to announce the winner on the announcements for that day, but
you still haven't announced it?
No, I have not.
Have you made a choice?
No, No, I actually had my sister try and weigh in on break, and she picked one, and I'm just between two, and so I'm trying to decide. So, and you've already said you will not weigh in, so
I will not.
I did not waste your time with that. But I'm really, really proud of them, and I popped into my class over break and got to see them hanging in the windows, and that just made me so happy. And the kids are really, and I wore my sweater to something during break. It was something that I went to with my family, and it got a lot of love. Like, it definitely got a lot of love. The people are learning a lot about Rosalind Franklin, I will say.
The power of the ugly Christmas
That's
sweater.
Right. So it's been a good educational thing. And so that was fun. And then I posted it per your reminder, which was good, to post it up on the Kessler site, which you and I love. And
again, if you're a science or STEM teacher, make sure you join the Kessler Professional Learning Community, PLC. You have to join the group, but so many awesome things already on break. I've been caught on there for an hour.
I love it.
Following these things, but it's such a benefit to you as a teacher.
Yeah. And so, our whole goal about the things that we post is more to share and to inspire and, just kind of plant those seeds. And so that was really cool because a lot of people are already doing the ugly Christmas sweater project. I mean, we didn't invent that. I think we saw it on Kessler actually, and we just decided to do it, to make it into the sweater thing. So there's a lot of people that had said they're going to do that next year. So I hope that they do. That'd be really cool.
No, it was pretty awesome. All the likes that I got, all the comments, and you are the original, taking the ugly Christmas sweater and turning it into an actual sweater. Yeah. So you are the queen of the creation of the ugly Christmas sweater from a student version.
Yes. Yes.
All right, there's Ryan. He's giving you some props for your queendom. There's another queen thing to add to your resume.
Go Arizona.
Another appearance by our man Ryan Scientist. Now,
more to say.
Go SV.
I like it.
Go SV Vipers.
All right, now Ryan, how's your holiday break been going?
Good.
Good. What's been the favorite thing about your break so far?
Doing tricks on my skateboard.
Doing tricks on your skateboard. All right. Well, we're going to tap Ryan out here. All right, go back to work, Ryan. All right. So that was awesome. And talk about the gingerbread. You did some ginger engineering to end up break here.
Yeah, that was an undertaking. It was super fun, but gingerbread house making, I would not say that's like did you grow up doing that?
I did not.
Yeah, nor did I. And I don't really think that's my gift in life. And there are a handful of 8th graders that it is their gift. But a lot of the 8th graders are more in the same ballpark as me, where it's like, they could use some practice. And it was in the NPR, so like the cafeteria area. And we gave, 125 8th graders frosting and candy and gingerbread, graham crackers and stuff, and they made their gingerbread houses. And they had a blast. So much fun, right? They had so much fun. There was stuff everywhere. It was so sticky. They were just hopped up on candy, on sugar. And talk about, like, going from the chant, the spirit chant at the assembly, super fun. That assembly was so fun, with the band and the choir and all that, and all the different grade level chants. Like, I think that's my favorite assembly because it's right before Christmas break and it's that happy holiday vibe. So that was really fun, and then we went right into the gingerbread house thing, and it was controlled chaos, I would say. It was controlled chaos, but super fun. And there were some really elaborate ones. Actually, Ramon made, like, it looked like a multi-car garage. I'm not sure, huge building, and so did Matthew. And like, their stuff was very elaborate, and then some. But then you look at that, and it is an engineering design, challenge, if you will. And I was blown away. But a lot of kids just mostly ate a lot of candy, and then we sent them home, so it was good.
That's pretty awesome. I love the awards you gave out. So what were some of the awards that you guys gave out?
That's all credit to Mrs. V, but she did, she got cotton candy, and it was like for the sweetest one. And there was one that was kettle corn, I think it was, and it was for like the corniest one. And what were some of, and there was a rubber duck, and it was like the ugly duckling award, and I think she did 5. I can't remember the other ones, but they were really cute.
Pretty cool. So it was a great way to end the 2019 school year. My highlight ending this past school year was my 8th graders. They've been working so hard on their Sphero mini golf courses.
Those things are crazy.
And talking about the detail, the attention to detail, how much time they worked. I mean, we spent almost probably 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks perfecting these, and everyone had some sorts of lights, servos working, and it was just so much fun.
So explain what a servo is.
So servo is something that they code, so it kind of spins, and then they have to kind of add on to that and kind of put these obstacles on for their mini golf courses.
And this one was the hummingbird
Yep,
kit?
so we use the hummingbird kit, which works with the microbit, and they do all the coding on MS Make code, and so they have to code all this stuff, and then, but my biggest thing is I want the kids to realize the coding's the easy part, it's the engineering, it's the hard part, and they went through the engineering design process time and time again to kind of get these things perfect. And I think on that final day, like almost everything was perfect. And then we had Mrs. Garcia's 3rd graders come in, and they got to play the holes and kind of go through everything. And those kids had so much fun. My daughter actually got a hole-in-one on the hole where she was trying to go for your mouth versus mine, and then she got a hole-in-one. But the coolest thing was that these 3rd graders are doing things that that the 8th graders haven't even done, like holes in ones. I think Javi, Devin, their group, they never even made it to their hole, and they were so impressed that these 3rd graders were making it through their hole. So it was just such a great year to kind of see like that leadership and the mentorship that these 8th graders possessed, and how excited they were to kind of share their work with the 3rd graders.
The creativity was crazy. Like their designs, they were so cool. And like the attention, like the pride in what they were producing, like you had some truly amazing things where they really had to care about those things, and like they were so invested. And you were so great about like you had huge projects.
They were big.
I don't even know how you had space, but you know, they just like every single time I would see them, they would be working on the project. Like they had so much fun, like investing the time in that.
And I love the feedback that the 3rd graders were given to the 8th graders, and how they were going back and forth and sharing these things. And there was like one glitch on a hole, and North and Avery were so kind and be like, this group didn't get to play this hole, can we skip this hole? And these 3 boys were just so thankful that they got to play this hole. So it was truly just an awesome end to the year, like how much work went into these little mini golf courses, and the fact that 3rd grade got to play these. And I just love the pride that these 8th graders showed as they went through this whole process with all the kids, and just how much engineering, how much coding, how much everything, you know, makerspace that we kind of want to throw in to these projects that kind of made me super excited, and things that we love in terms of like the microbit, the hummingbird, and just I was just blown away by what they were able to do, and how they were able to like kind of inspire like this next generation of like what they could do with like computer science and code.
Yeah, you know, I keep thinking about that one group's design, and it had the Mickey Mouse arch, like how many times they had to come back to that engineering, you know, approach to get that to stand. Like they try, I don't even know how many, 4 or 5. A lot. But, you know, that's the beauty, is just that one component of their whole, they couldn't get it to work. And so they had to keep coming back to materials, angles, and like just so many different ways that they approached it. And then I don't even remember, I think your sub actually suggested duct tape, and that was the winning thing. But it was so cool that they, you know, kept coming back to it, and they cared about every single detail being perfect. And I just love, well, not perfect, but functioning in the way they envisioned it to.
And they really did want it perfect though, like the color scheme, and like they didn't want things to take away from the looks and the detail. So it was just awesome, and I'm excited to think about like, what am I going to do with this 3rd quarter group, because this group has already the first group, you know, I was like kind of introducing them, and they kind of had some free reign, and it was just a lot of fun. Now, as we start every episode, we're starting a little late here. We always like to start off with how we nailed it in the past week. Now, my dad, my kids call my dad Bumpa. My kids really wanted a trampoline for Christmas. And, you know, that moment where you don't get what you really wanted deep down on Christmas. You're just you're happy because you got all these great things. You're excited. You don't want your parents to feel like you're sad, but they were kind of dejected when they realized there was no trampoline in the backyard. And then my daughter walked into the garage to throw something recycling, and there was this huge trampoline box sitting there in the garage. Well, the day after Christmas, December 26th, my kids wanted that thing to be put up. And let me tell you, it hasn't been warm in Arizona.
It's not.
It's been a little chilly here. So I started at about 9 o'clock when it was 39 degrees. Started building this. I started out with Ryan and Mackenzie as my helpers, and my dog Brady.
Yeah.
Don't forget Brady.
Yeah.
I quickly lost them. Ryan took a head injury, like a pole doinked him in the head. He's got a nice little shiner on the side of his head there. So we lost Ryan for the day. I literally spent, and putting a trampoline up by yourself is not an easy feat.
I don't think they're meant for that. Yeah.
No, they're really not.
Yeah.
So, and anyone out there who's ever put a trampoline together, you feel my pain. You know what I've gone through.
You guys should all have T-shirts.
And the instructions are almost worse than IKEA instructions. There's basically no words.
Which is bad because, safety is big on those.
Exactly.
You would think they would be really careful.
That was my thought. I was trying to follow these instructions step by step. Ryan's showing off his shiner there. I mean, look at that thing. That thing's, he got doinked in the head like a hammer to the head. I mean, he nailed it.
Literally.
Yeah, and he wasn't happy. He was blaming everyone on the work site. We had our first meltdown literally within 30 minutes of trying to put this together.
Good times.
But mind you talk about the safety. Yeah, so I'm trying to follow these instructions step by step, and they don't give a lot of instructions. It's just like IKEA pictures, and I couldn't believe it. Anything, if you have a product, just do a QR code to a YouTube video showing you step 1, step 2, kind of going through. How have all these companies not come to that conclusion that everything should be a YouTube video?
Should be a liability, you would think.
So I'm out there building. Finally, I get this thing to semi-stand, and then everything's off of tension. So there's about 80 springs. Once you get it standing up there, there's 80 springs that you got to use this special spring tool to kind of get on there. So I get about 75 springs in there, and I realize there's 2 sections where the springs are crooked.
Oh, jeez.
Now, and once they were crooked, they're almost impossible to get out. So I'm literally trying to use all my strength. I had to take a break. I wish I did a time lapse video like you told me, where there was points where I was just laying on the grass, staring up at the sky, questioning the project that I was doing. Just for extended periods. Mind you, the kids are coming and going. They're playing outside. Brady's running around. Instructions in his mouth. I'm chasing him. It would have been a great time lapse.
I would have paid good money for that movie.
And just the battery life just would not have supported. I did not finish this thing until well past sundown.
No, it started raining that day, though, right?
Yeah, it did start raining at night. Yeah, so I got some rain there. So I had to take a little mental break. Then I came back, and finally I was able to straighten out all of these springs, which was no easy feat because when they're at an angle, they're twisted, and it was not fun. So I fixed all the springs. You were impressed that it looked standing. You said you would almost even go on it. That you would trust.
I still will. I want to try this thing out.
It was my greatest maker project I think I've ever done. The longest project I've ever worked on, and maybe the proudest thing that I've ever created. But then it didn't end there. So then it has the net, and then I put all these little posts that hold the net, I put them in backwards. Okay. So, you're screwing these things with washers, bolts. So there's 6 of these little posts that kind of go in, and I put them all in backwards. So then I didn't give up because you're a big person on once you start a project, you need to finish it. You cannot stand that.
Yeah.
So I go in, I unscrew them all, I spin them all around, I put them on, I fix them all there. Then I finally tap in my wife for the net because this net is no easy thing. You got to wire these metal things in. You got to make this big circle. And it was no easy feat just getting this net to put on there. But the good news is the net goes on. But again, I had you in the back of my mind because the one thing, your biggest pet peeve is starting a project and not finishing the project.
Makes me crazy.
Now, talk about crocheting, knitting. To put the net on, to attach it, you literally have to weave this thing in and out.
Don't.
Yes, you should see. You should see the work that I had to do. I spent probably another hour and a half in the dark, with my flashlight. I needed our minor light.
Yes.
I needed our minor light on there, where I had to weave all these things and tie the net down to the ground. But that thing has been the greatest gift. My kids have been on that thing nonstop. Ryan tries to jump on it at all hours of the night. We've been doing dude perfect throws where I just throw him the football and he's bouncing up there making these catches. Mackenzie had her friend over there yesterday, so everyone wants to go on the trampoline. But again, if you've ever built a trampoline, kudos to you. And if your kids are trying to get you to get a trampoline, tell them you'll take them to the trampoline park.
Oh, well, I don't know. First of all, what does Bumpa have to do with it? Was this a gift from Bumpa?
This was a gift from Bumpa.
Wow.
Yes,
So really, if you think about it, it was a gift for your kids and for you. Because look how much you grew as a person.
I text my dad many times and I thanked him for the gift.
Because I feel like he basically helped you in your manhood. Like, this is a step. I think you should get like a badge, much like Boy Scouts. I think you should get like a dad badge.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
You know, and then the worst part is we just spent all this money on reseeding our grass. Our grass looks good. And then now this thing's like taking up our entire grass. And then I'm going to have this big circle of a dead spot on my grass. I don't even know what to do when the landscapers come. You just can't lift that thing and move it to the side.
I think the only thing to say is Merry Christmas. This is a gift that's going to keep on giving. You know, all your grass is going to die under that spot. Just that one spot.
Exactly.
It's going to look like a UFO landed, but you will have so many memories. And so who cares, right? It's going to be the best.
Yeah!
I love it.
My kids love it. So again,
you know what's going to be cool? Like, if you set up your slip and slide, you could just go right under it. What could go wrong with these plans? Like, I'm a fan of this.
All right. Well, maybe we can get you on the trampoline today.
Dude, I'd be all about that.
We'll do some dude perfect throws. You can test the validity, but I am proud of it. It was, I'm telling you, from sun up to past sundown, it was a project. It was the project of my life, and many a times I thought I was going to throw in the towel, but there was many a times where, because you're like tying things underneath the trampoline, like your arms, like my arm, like there's weird muscles that hurt like I've never felt before. And there was many times where it would have been great on a time lapse where I was just staring up into the abyss, just like wondering like how my life came to this.
Yeah, like you kind of had like a survival moment. I have to say, I think it's really impressive, very impressive that you got it done. Like, that is, not everyone could do that. So I am impressed. Good job.
So that was my nailed it. What was your nailed it?
Well, first of all, I had some real highlights because I got this cool, which I meant to bring to show to you. I got this cool cube that is like a smart cube, and it basically will track, like it will time you and how you move, and it'll teach you how to like be more efficient at solving the cube, but it collects all your data, and it is really, really cool. I got one and Sam got one, and so I'm like, there's a lot of downtime. My kids aren't young like yours are, so they're doing their own thing on Christmas, and so it's just me and my mom, and so I decided like I'm going to teach her how to do the cube. And so a lot of patience, much like you with the trampoline, but bless her, because she stuck with it, and we would do the white side, but I would coach her a lot through it, and so then I didn't feel like she really understood it, so then I would scramble again and then have her do the white side, and I feel like she really got the hang of it, and then I helped her walk through all the way, like fully solving it, and she was delighted. And this is someone that I think you and I see this over and over and over, that people are preconceived to decide what you're good at and what you're not good at. And I think it's so important for people to realize, like, the cube is like a huge block, I think, mentally for people, and especially just adults in general, and they automatically are like, I can't do that. And so she did say that, and so the fact that she solved it, it made her realize, like, oh my gosh, like, I never thought I would be able to do that. So I'm going to purchase her one and have that sent to her house, and do that for her, because she loves brain puzzles, like she's like Sudoku and all those. She's obsessed with Candy Crush, and I actually think this would be a really fun thing for her, because she was really into it, and it was cool. I mean, I was very proud of that. I cleaned my sister's garage as a gift to her. They're putting their house up.
That was amazing.
It really was amazing. And the worst part was, I did this knowing that I would not get to see them like see the results because they were out of town and I was going
Try to explain the beginning to end process.
Well, if you've ever seen the
feel
show
like
Hoarders,
I feel like this is almost like an example of your sun up to sundown project.
it 100% was, and my back has not been the same since. Like, I legit this morning I was like, my back is still having spasms.
And you recruited Ella and Sam
and my mom. So we cleaned this garage, but like when you went into the garage, there was no space. Like, there was no pathways. Their washer dryer was in there, it's functioning. So you would have to like get through this little labyrinth to their devices. So I just thought this would be nice. And she had said, like, I got to get to the garage. And when you have littles, like a baby, Amelia's 6 months, and then, Finley is a precocious, almost 5-year-old, and there's no way she's gonna be able to do that. And
no way.
And so what we we pulled every single thing out of the garage, and that took forever. And like, I'm sure you've had this feeling where you do that and you're kind of like, all right, I'm done. Like, that took so much, just that one part, and then you realize like, I still have to do literally everything. So we do all that, and then like I made Sam go up into the attic, and man, that kid, he's lucky he's not older because his back would be like in bad shape too. This kid was like, it was like right out of a Chris Farley skit. Like, I'd pass a big suitcase and he's like wrestling it up in there. He looked like he's gonna fall out. He's like sweating, even though it's like, I don't even know, 40 degrees. It was so freezing. But huge kudos to Sam for what he did for that, because I couldn't have done that without him. But we like got rid of some stuff, with her permission, and organized and put stuff up in the attic. And that thing is a beautiful place now. And they're about to put the house up on the market. So my thought is like, it's like a sitting area. It's like couches and, like chairs and stuff. And so it will actually be nice when they put that up.
It's a very cool Cali garage. Like, almost has like that wood tile, like kind of goes in there. And
it is really nice. So that'll be hugely, and I did talk to them last night. They just got back into town. And my sister's a lot like Ella, where it's like kind of even keel reaction, she's like, oh, thanks, it's awesome, and you just want that like really. But her husband Todd is like all the feels, and so he was ecstatic, and he was very, very glowy about how excited he is, and so it's awesome.
I felt like that would have been a great time lapse of like what you guys did there, especially with Sam just like wheeling these huge suitcases in the attic.
It was hilarious. Like, he was the comic relief, and we just had music, and it was like such a fun vibe. And that was Christmas Eve, I think it was. And so, like, much like for you, what you did on your Christmas day, it was so nice to do something for somebody else that you're not getting anything from that as far as like your agenda. It's just for somebody else. And that was just such a nice way to spend that day, doing something that would make such a big impact for somebody else.
I hope you get a little kickback on this realtor's commission there.
I'm just so excited. It was like, I feel very proud. And I do like projects where you see like that final end. That's why I don't like to leave them, undone. And so,
your biggest pet peeve.
Yes. And like, that was such a sense of accomplishment. I kept going in there. It was hard though, because a lot of my dad's stuff was in there. So it was kind of like, did all that, and then I put all my dad's stuff, and then I did that at the end by myself, just kind of like went through his stuff. And so that was good, but that was kind of an odd way to end it, but still special. So that was my good thing. But my failed it, and I mentioned this to you briefly, but was actually when we went to Ale Christmas. That's my big family gathering, and my sister and I, we drive separately, and we have the kids, and we head off to go to my family's, but we have to get something at Sprouts. Like, we have to go to the grocery store, and because we have to bring whatever, I don't know, appetizer, dessert, whatever. And so she says, just figure this out, like find where we're going. Well, I couldn't get my directions to do what I wanted to. So I was trying to figure it out while I was driving, and I was like, just start driving this way and I'll put in the map stuff. It's going to be fine. And so all of a sudden we're driving, and she's like, okay, did you figure out where we're going? And I'm like, no, I'm still trying to put this into the maps. And all of a sudden we were in this line, and we realized we can't get out of the line, and we're heading into Camp Pendleton's Marine base. and it's like it is a huge marine base. Like, have you ever seen this place?
Yes.
Forget. Okay.
I've almost done the same thing.
It is legit huge, and it's very foreboding. And I'm thinking, like, I still at this point I'm thinking, like, what's the big deal? Like, what is the big deal? We took a wrong turn. We can't be clearly the only person that's done this.
I've done this.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like, and you can turn, but the only way you can get out of this line is by getting on the freeway, and we don't want to get on the freeway, especially in California. It's just so dicey. So I'm like, just go up to the thing, and it's like a border crossing, like it's like that kind of border stop. That's the vibe that you get. So I said, just go up there, and we'll just tell them we need to turn around really fast. And I'm thinking, like, cool, no big deal. Two ladies, and we've got a car full of kids, and it's all good. I am dressed in the most ridiculous outfit, as is my sister. I'm dressed in the Christmas romper, and because our family does ugly Christmas sweaters, but I wore like this whole romper just to kick it up a notch, which did go over really well with my family once I arrived. But so I know that we look ridiculous. And so the guy that stops us, he's military, and he's in all his fatigues, and he's got the hugest gun I have ever seen. I guess it's a rifle. It looked like a machine gun. I don't know. Rambo might have had it. I'm not sure, but it was like this crazy gun. And I'm still thinking, like, all right, that's his job, whatever. So we kind of are like, oh my gosh, so sorry. Like, we are just trying to turn around. We just got a wrong turn. And he is super annoyed with us. And he's like, well, what is your purpose? And we're like, we have no we just got in this line, like we just are in the wrong spot. And he's like, I need your license. So he takes Jess's license, and I'm thinking he's just gonna look at it and then send us, and he takes it and he walks away, and we're like, oh my gosh, like this guy is not cool at all. And so I say to him, do you know how to get to Sprouts? And my sister and I are just like, gosh, like, what is this problem? So then he comes back, and he doesn't give us the license. He doesn't even use the guy's name. He's like, hoo-ah, or something like that. And he like calls this guy over, and the guy also has this huge gun, and they walk us to this spot. Like, we have to follow him. The guy's walking in front of us in the road holding Jess's license, and he's like pointing aggressively to this parking lot. It is a very serious offense, apparently. Like, what are we doing? We're not like Thelma and Louise. Like, I don't even know what we would possibly be doing.
Are there any kids in the car?
Yes, they're full of kids. And so,
and you're driving, or Jess is driving? I'm
not sure if they thought I was like in Buddy the Elf when he shows up and there's like a holiday gram or something. Like, I don't know, but I wasn't trying to infiltrate their base. I just wanted to get to Sprouts. So we're talking to the guy, and he's really severe with us. And I say, finally, like, can you just tell us how to like get out of here? And the guy was like, okay, yeah. And he starts telling us, and then I say, and do you can you also give us directions to Sprouts? And he's like, no, ma'am, I can't give you directions to Sprouts. So I'm like, that's cool. Like, as long as we can just get out. So we hightail it out. But like, oh my gosh, they were so cranky about this. It was so that was a huge failure, because I won't lie. I thought like no big deal. And then I thought maybe this is kind of a big deal, because this does not seem to be like as festive as I thought it would be, and it went poorly. So my sister did say, you are the absolute worst with directions. And I was like, I have said that from the beginning.
We pride ourselves on that. Yes. And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome fail on your part there. Now, how upset was your sister with you?
Well, I feel like we were both equally guilty, right? Because she didn't know how to get there either. My sister is in general, she doesn't really turn on you very much. So like, we were in it together. So she knew, like, if I had to take a bullet for her from that huge gun, she knew that I would, and vice versa. It was like, we're going down together. Very much like Thelma and Louise, actually, now that I think about it. So she was cool, but she wasn't thrilled about my lack of directions. And when we did pull out, immediately she pulled over and said, I need you to actually look at these directions. And I still couldn't figure out my maps. So she took my phone away and plugged it in. So it all worked out.
What did Ella say throughout this entire process?
Ella just literally is kind of like, oh my gosh, like all the time she's like, oh my gosh, you know, and she laughs, you know, whatever. I think she just really wanted to get to Sprouts. Like, the poor child is starving. It was well past lunch. We failed her on so many levels, but Ella is just a roll with it kind of kid.
I love it. That is a great story there, and I wouldn't expect anything less from you. Thanks for sharing that. That just made my whole day there. Now, this week was pretty exciting for me and my family, and Sierra Verde, Deer Valley, the community, everything there. Now, me and you together, we've hit the trifecta.
Totally.
Like, we've hit the Arizona Cardinals grant. We've received a $5,000 grant from the Arizona Cardinals. That was 4 years ago, and that's what started Moxie, and that's what kind of like got the ball rolling. That was like our first big grant. Big shout out to Dr. Tunis, who really helped us like touch that up and kind of bring that to life, like a great surprise. We've also received the Diamondbacks grant this year, which they're going to do a great celebration with you and the announcement crew and coming out.
CenturyLink was it a year ago? 2 years
We're talking
ago?
about sports, though.
Oh, these are all sports?
I'm doing our sports ones, like the trifecta of the big sports.
Oh, I didn't realize this was a sports theme. I'm with you now.
All right, so you stay with me with the sports theme.
Yeah, go.
All right, so we got the Diamondbacks this year, and we've applied for the Diamondbacks the last 2 or 3 years. I think the last 2 or 3 years. Finally got the Diamondbacks grant.
So pumped.
And then this year was our first year applying for the Suns grant, and then I received the Suns grant. So we have the Arizona Cardinals, the Diamondbacks, and the Suns. The Coyotes, too. I don't know if they do a grant. We'll have to,
we should
that's the one
suggest
major
it.
sports team that we have not received a grant from. I think they actually do a grant. I think we did apply for it last year, and I don't think we got it. But anyways, so we've hit 3 of the 4 major sports, and it's awesome how they kind of give back to public education, charter schools, where funding is tight in the state of Arizona.
Yeah.
So to start off my break, the first Friday, I received we received a $2,500 grant from the Phoenix Suns from APS. So I had a great opportunity to go to the Suns game. They're playing the Houston Rockets. Got to see James Harden. It was an awesome experience because I got to take my daughter. She's a big hooper. I call her the James Harden of the CCV League. She gets it. I know she's going to shoot it. She's playing against boys. Sometimes I think the boys are afraid not to pass it to her. She's not big on defense, but once she gets that ball in her hand, she's like, clear out. She's like, I got this, boy. She's like, get on my back and I'll take you to the promised land. This girl loves to shoot. So it was awesome to kind of take that in. And the gorilla came up. She got some selfies with the gorilla. She also had got the autograph. She got to spend some time with the cheerleaders, asking them questions. She was so excited for the cheerleaders to come up. So it was like a really great experience for my daughter that she loves basketball, she loves dance, she loves cheer, and she kind of got to take this in. But the coolest thing was that Glendale Elementary was like my first district where I started teaching 11 years ago, and they were big on the PLC model, which Deer Valley is really starting to implement. That's why we have our half days. And someone from my PLC my first year had received a grant and was there, so I got to spend a lot of time with him, hanging out with him and his wife, talking about all the cool things we're doing in computer science and education. So I love that. Also, there was a teacher from Diamond Canyon, which also got the STEM certification the same year, the national STEM certification the same year that we got it. So it was so cool to kind of hear what they were doing on their campus, hang out with her daughter as well. Her daughter was a dancer in the Nutcracker. So just a cool experience for that night to kind of be celebrated.
Totally.
Mackenzie loved the Jumbotron. I'm so bummed I did not know about this 15 Seconds of Fame app where if you download it, like they'll send you like your Jumbotron clip right to your phone.
Wait, are you saying you didn't know that at the game?
No, I knew it after.
Oh.
Because my friend Lindsay told me about it. She's like, did you download the 15 Seconds of Fame app? And I was like,
that's
no.
a bummer. I thought you were saying that because you had that.
Yeah, so I wish I had it because then I could show you Mackenzie just
Yeah.
stealing the limelight and just dancing her heartbeat
Good to
out.
know.
And the crowd loved her dance moves. They were like all clapping for her around her. So it was pretty awesome. Now, staying with the sports theme, like I was also a recipient of the Fiesta Bowl Wishes for Teachers, which is a $5,000 grant, which we're still working out the kinks on that, but we'll talk about that once we stop recording here. But the cool thing was we had the opportunity to volunteer with the Clemson football team. So on Christmas Day, they were practicing, they were here all week, and so we went and we packed 1,500 backpacks with school supplies for for students in Title I schools, which, Title I is near and dear to our hearts. You did your student teaching in the Tolleson district, which was Title I. You love those kids.
I do.
I absolutely love my time spent in Glendale and Title I. I learned so much about life that I could never imagine how much I learned from these kids and what a better person I am because of my time working with those parents, those community, those amazing educators. So it was cool to spend some time at Christmas to give back, but also be with the Clemson football team. And it was just so cool. Ryan was crushed. Trevor Lawrence, the quarterback for Clemson, he was probably doing interviews or getting treatment or in meetings. He didn't come out there, and I thought Ryan was not going to be able to recover. Ryan was like holding on to this Santa hat. He would not give a Santa hat unless it was Trevor Lawrence. So like as they came through, we had a big tunnel. We were clapping and cheering for them. And Ryan I did not know if he was going to recover. So you have this huge assembly line where you're kind of going through, and they split the Clemson up into two teams. So like there was like this big trophy, and then there was this miniature trophy. It was almost embarrassing how small the second place trophy was. And these guys, they just got out of practice. They're here focusing for this huge football game. Clemson did pull it out, which is awesome. My kids are Clemson fans for life, especially Ryan. Huge win over Ohio State. I'm not a big Ohio State fan, but
Ryan's always liked orange, so I think this works out well.
Yeah, so it was just so awesome. But the cool thing was that, there was probably 20 to 25 teachers there on Christmas Day volunteering, and my kids are just like the perfect age to kind of like soak this up and kind of experience it. And Ryan knows about play. Like he just loves sports in that sense. Mackenzie sees the news crew, so she perks up. she knows how to steal her moment.
He doesn't need 15 seconds.
No,
of fame.
she does not need
She's
seconds.
got bigger plans than that.
Yeah, and so it was just a great day, and players, they could just kind of go through the motions, and they were all into this. Like they had captains, they had team names. I forgot what her team name was,
so cool.
And they were just so pumped up. But Ryan, I was trying to help them because, you're going fast. You have to fill up the pencil bag first, and then you got to put all these supplies in the main backpack and zip it up. Now, Ryan, after one round, he's like, I'm going on my own. I'm like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I got this. So Ryan just spread his wings, did his own thing. Z was already on her own. She was like, I'm going to take this moment. So Ryan's doing his own thing. Mind you, he's in front of these 5-star recruits, future NFL player, linemen, kind of getting lost there. Ryan's doing his own thing. He's zipping it up. He's just doing, players are helping them. So we're coming towards the end, and Ryan has the last backpack. And it was just so awesome because all of a sudden he's engulfed by the whole Clemson, this whole Clemson team. They're around him. They're helping him. They're cheering. I feel like he's peaked too early in life where he's had his Rudy moment. So literally Ryan has this last backpack. They're all around him, helping him, cheering. I just have the perfect video. They hand it off. One of the Clemson players pick him up. I lose it in the melee. They throw the backpack. All the players go crazy. Confetti goes flying. Someone's holding Ryan. Ryan runs around, gives his mom the Super Bowl MVP hug. It was just such a fun experience for my kids. But then it doesn't end there. Ryan's moment was the absolute best. Now, Mackenzie, she has this unique ability to take moments. Sparkle. We'll say she has a unique ability to sparkle. Now, they call the captain up from the winning team to come up to get this huge trophy. This trophy is probably about 3 feet, and it's full with little wishes for teachers, apples, and
cool.
Footballs. And who do you think goes up for the trophy celebration?
100% this girl.
They call AJ, which was our captain, and he's number 5 for KJ. Sorry, KJ. Number 5 for Clemson is such a cool dude and gets Mackenzie up there. And Mackenzie's up there for the whole photo op, standing right side by side with KJ for this. Fiesta Bowl's taking all these pictures. Mackenzie's up there just smiling. He's giving a speech. So Mackenzie did everything minus giving a speech. So
that is
it was just such an amazing moment. You want your kids to understand to give back and appreciate what they have, but also, enjoy these moments. And it was something that I'll never forget. The kids got the picture of Dabo Sweeney, the head coach for Clemson, and they didn't realize what a big deal that was. But shout out to the student athletes from Clemson University, understanding, incorporating the kids, getting them excited. And me, I love sports, and it was just it was truly one of the highlights as a parent to kind of have this moment with the Clemson University football team.
So here's what I want to know: what do you have planned for next year?
I know. That's it's going to be.
Talk about Ryan peaking too soon. You basically got the limo for a 3-year-old birthday. You have to just up your game now from here.
Yeah, it was truly awesome. It was a great way to spend Christmas, and it was the kids don't understand what happened. Everyone's oh, how was this, and they're I was up there in the trophy presentation. Ryan, when he was telling you, he's they were carrying me. I had the winning bag. What
a memory though. And they did have those side perks, right, of the camaraderie with the team and all of that stuff. But for them to spend that day in service for somebody else, it's such a great thing to do on that day of all days. So
and kudos to the Fiesta Bowl, how much they do with their outreach, and
That's
how many
huge.
different organizations and charities and all this money that they give back to the Valley, not only in education but in playgrounds, parks, the city. So it was truly that moment was truly awesome. But again, our break didn't end there. So then, with being a Wishes for Teachers recipient, I received 2 tickets to the Cheez-It Bowl. Now, you buy many a Cheez-Its for my kids for snacks after school. You know how much my kids absolutely love Cheez-Its.
Especially Ryan.
Yes, Ryan loves Cheez-Its.
He does.
And so we got to see Air Force play Washington State. We had pretty great seats, kind of just a perfect view, but for TV purposes, they had us all shuffle down. So we ended up in the 3rd row, and it was truly awesome.
And where was this again?
This was at the Diamondback Stadium. I forget the official name. Chase Field.
Is that what it is?
Well played.
Okay.
Look at you.
Well, I wasn't sure. It just came out.
Yes.
Nowhere.
So they turned Chase Field into a football stadium, which you were trying to figure out how they did that. And it's pretty cool to see a football game in a baseball field.
Yeah.
And so we had a blast. 3rd row. We were on top of all the action on the Washington State sideline. The mascots were there, which I know you're not a big fan of, but Ryan absolutely loved it. At the beginning of the 2nd quarter, my buddy came and sat with Ryan, hung out with Ryan because he was one section over, because I was going on the field, and you can't take your kids onto the field with you, which is a bummer. Would have loved for Ryan to have that experience.
Wait, so this guy just happened to be at the game, but not for Wishes for Teachers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It kind of worked out good because those tickets in the lower bowl were $150 a pop. So
Yeah.
I didn't want Heather to be all right, I have to buy you one ticket, and then you're not even sitting with us for there. But it worked out kind of good there that my buddy was there. And so he sat with Ryan, they were hanging out. And then we go on the field at halftime. They play this montage video of the Wishes for Teachers. And it was just so cool because I love the part. The lady actually caught the one part. I got to get the clip because the clip was so awesome.
To get that clip.
She was like, is Robert Lane there? So they said my whole name on the
so
Jumbotron.
Cool.
But then it gets better because as we're watching this clip, there's Brady getting a drink again.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously thirsty. As we're playing this clip, they do my hootie hoo, my woohoo, my celebration.
That is awesome.
And I just get this huge smile on my face just thinking about Sam, of how excited he would be, kind of seeing the celebration. My wife would have been so embarrassed, but I was so excited that they took 2 moments from such a special day to immortalize
there,
in that clip.
So what other things did they put in this montage? Because yours, as we know, because we've talked about it, you reacted big and awesome and appropriately excited, right? Because we were so disappointed. So what else did they put in this montage? I feel you should have been in the montage the whole bit.
I know. But I was honored. I was so excited that I got two little shadow, and these are 200 teachers. Remember, that whole show was such an awesome spectacle.
You gave them a good reaction.
I told them. I said I got to give them what they give the people their money's worth,
That's right.
But I was just smiling, thinking how excited Sam was if he was was there to kind of experience that moment and kind of see that, because Sam was pretty adamant people were not excited enough when they were.
I was so excited when you responded that way.
Getting that news, but they played like their clips there, so it was so awesome. There's a lot of teachers there for the game. They, showed us up on the Jumbotron, but the best part was we had to like sprint off the field, like, because the Washington State band was like coming at us, and
I think you should have just stayed on there for like a diva moment.
So it was so cool, and that game did not start early. That game kicked off at 8:15.
That is brutal.
And so I told you, I was like, trying to take it easy with Ryan. I want him to have a low key day because we got this late night ahead of us, and we did not leave till like the second possession of the fourth quarter, which we didn't get home till about 12:15.
Brutal.
Mind you, the Fiesta Bowl Parade was the next day. Now, have you ever attended the Fiesta Bowl Parade?
I didn't even know this was a thing.
Okay, all right. You're a big fan of the Rose Bowl Parade. That's something. Have you ever attended the Rose Bowl Parade?
No, but I've gone to see the floats prior to the parade.
Okay, that's what a lot of people do. Like,
Yeah.
I was talking to someone that like lived down there, and he said we would never go to the Fiesta Bowl Parade, but we'd come the night before and see the floats.
And that is really cool.
And then like you'd always watch it. Big tradition. You said you guys would watch the parade on TV.
Because that's not far from where I lived, so like it was a big deal.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize like what a big deal the Fiesta Bowl Parade was, and shame on me all these years. I've never attended the Fiesta Bowl Parade, but another perk was walking in the Fiesta Bowl Parade. And let me tell you, there weren't as many people walking in the parade as they were at the game.
Really cold.
At the game the previous night, and my kids have been sleeping in. I had to have them rally, get ready to go to this parade. It was a cold morning, but it was one of the greatest experiences as a teacher, because as I was walking that parade, everyone was just like clapping, cheering, saying, we love you teachers. My sister's a teacher. And you talk about all the Clemson fans, all the Ohio State fans. So like people all over the country. I saw one stat, there was like 100,000 people at this parade, which I don't know if that was true, but
you should have walked with a clicker.
Yeah, I should have, but it was just so much love that everyone got from this parade, and how much my kids enjoyed attending the parade, and they got so much cool swag. Ryan has not been able to put down this Cheez-It football that he's been playing with nonstop, but just the respect, and just you want to have that moment. Like I said to you, I was like, I hope you have this moment. And again, the Fiesta Bowl, people said it is a random drawing, which 200 teachers received this $5,000 grant, which totaled $1 million, and it was you don't want to. Yeah, it was pretty good. Ryan says I
want to know though. Do you think that there were more people that were supposed to be at the parade that maybe felt how chilly it was and thought, I'm gonna sit this one out?
Yes.
Yes, it was a commitment. I'm not gonna lie. Going from the game the previous night, and I had to dig deep. And Ryan's my sleeper inner here. He loves to sleep in. He had to dig deep, but he had a blast.
I see a lot of birdies opening their wings.
So then when you got the grant, did they have like all of these options? Like, do you want to walk in the parade? Do you want to go to the Cheez-It Bowl? Do you want to do this backpack thing? Is everything all at that point that you're signing up right then? No, they would send an email. They're like, do you want to sign up for the volunteering thing? We can only have like a certain amount of teachers. Then they tell you you can't share it on social media, and kind of go from there. And then do you want to walk in the parade? So there's a lot of emails going back and forth. Okay. But we didn't even share your Fiesta Bowl moment from last year. The last 2 years, last year, I got the Cheez-It Bowl the previous year before. And so the last 2 years, we've gone to Blanco, which is my favorite restaurant in the whole world. I'm starting to really be a fan, I will tell you. If you haven't gone to Blanco, you really need to go to Blanco. It's on our way down. It's in Scottsdale. So we last 2 years, we've gone down. We've gotten our tickets, and then we have lunch. We ride scooters. Well, sort of, right? Sort of. We sort of get our tickets. Yes. So tell us what happened last year with your debit card. Yeah. Well, so you said that last day was a Friday, and you said, because we were planning to go get lunch, and you said, well, I thought we would eat at Blanco because I need to go pick up these tickets. And, it's the first day of break, so you're like, sweet, you got no agenda. It's perfect. So we go down there and we rented scooters first. Oh no, we ate at Blanco, and it was really, really late. I remember being starving. So we ate, and then we did the scooters, the electric scooters, which we rented the Lime scooters, which I am a huge fan of. As you know, I've become like a little bit particular to those, and so much fun. It was your kids and my kids. So much fun. Beautiful day that day, and so we didn't even go get your tickets right away. We didn't know where that place was. We cut it close.
Took us a little while. Yeah. It took us a little while to find the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah. It's actually really convenient once you know where it is, but we did not know where it was.
Sam
Shocking.
totally knew where it was this year. I still had no clue where we were walking, and Sam led us right there.
Yeah, so we
did get our tickets first this year.
Yeah, we did that first this time. But so we get in there and you get your tickets, and I had applied for tickets too, but whatever, I never got the email, so I'm just like, cool.
Again,
for you.
like last year, there was 2 Fiesta Bowl tickets and then 4 Cheez-It Bowl tickets, like in this package.
Yeah, so I go in there with you and we get your thing, and then I bought something. I don't remember what I bought, but I bought something for someone. I want to say it was for...
I was going to say, did you buy something for Ryan?
I think I did buy something for one of your kids, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was I don't remember what it was. But
something Cheez-It Bowl.
Something Cheez-It Bowl. And so I buy this thing, and we leave, and then I get home, and I realize that I actually got tickets. Like, it was in my spam that I had this email from them, and that I love. This is amazing. It's the real life right there. So I actually had tickets, and I was kind of like, I'm going to drive down there, whatever. Like, that's such a pain to drive back there.
It was a process.
It was a huge process. And I was like, I'm not doing that, whatever. And then the next day, I realized I went to a store. I can't remember which store I went to, but I went to pay, and I realized I don't have my debit card. And Ella helps me find this number to Wishes for Teachers, Fiesta Bowl. It helps me find, and it is really hard to find this direct line. Anyway, we finally find people to talk to, and after like all these different transfers, phone wise, they say, yes, we have your debit card. It is really far. So I am like, we need to, I have to go now. So
mind you, this is the second day of winter break.
Yeah. So anyhow, then, got the tickets, got the debit card, ended up giving the tickets to our awesome friend.
Miss Jenny.
Yeah, Miss Jenny. And because I knew I wasn't going to be able to be there. And so it was super hilarious. But this year, we went to lunch again, delicious.
Blanco.
And then
you haven't gone to Blanco.
It is good.
My favorite restaurant in the whole world.
I can't believe you didn't say your plug. They have the best rice.
They do. You're a fan of the street corn. I was upset Sam did not get the extra rice.
Dude, he talked about Blanco for like days afterward. Like,
now that we're talking about it, like I want to end this podcast to go to rate the Blanco.
So then we get the tickets. I am like, well, I'm not going to do this twice. Like, I'm going to ask if they have tickets, but it's awkward because you said they're not giving many tickets out this time because it's like, these are expensive, this is going to be expensive to go to this bowl game. And so I ask, and there's like an awkward moment. There's another guy who says he's picking up his tickets. His are not there. He was doing basically the same thing. I wasn't trying to cheat the system. I just assumed it was in my spam again. And I was wrong. That
was our nailed it there.
Yeah.
Now that brings me back to a moment. Did you hear about Miss Jenny's amazing news?
No.
I feel like you might be like, and I feel like she owes you a little bit. Now you gave her these Fiesta Bowl tickets last year. Her and Romo went to the game, had a blast. Now I can't believe you've not heard this news. Her and Romo, for somehow being a season ticket holder or apply for this thing, they won tickets to the Super Bowl.
How cool for them!
I know. Well, I feel like you might have to drop some. I forgot that you gave them that Fiesta Bowl tickets last year.
Good for them. I didn't hear that.
Yeah, so she's like, just beside herself. She's so excited, and it's in Miami this year. So Miss Jenny, our dog, we've talked many times how much we love her.
So much.
Won Super Bowl tickets for this upcoming Super Bowl.
She's worked hard. That'll be an awesome trip for her. Too bad it's in Miami though, but still so much fun.
They're gonna spend a lot of money for these free tickets.
That's gonna be money well spent.
It just made me think about that, and like I didn't know if you knew she had won those, and
I'm so excited.
With the end of the year, things were so busy. I didn't even have a chance to talk to her and celebrate that awesome moment.
That is amazing. Good for her. That is awesome. But that I will say, that end of that day, that when we went there and did those scooters, we tried a different brand, right? And I have realized I'm kind of a brat about scooters because you guys like those birds better, right?
Yeah, I was a fan of the birds.
Yeah, and I really like the limes, and but it was so much fun. Sam is like he is a beast on those things.
He loves them. He was hitting like 22 miles per hour. He was so excited. And like where we were riding these, like we're in such a perfect area. Like we're in like old Scottsdale, like behind the scenes there.
Yeah,
like,
but we're not in the perfect area because it says no riding those scooters.
Well,
which is odd because that's where they rent them.
Yeah.
So it's not really our fault.
It was a blast. So an amazing break. We still have one more week. This is our last pod of 2019. I can't wait to see what we come up with in 2020 with the podcast, how we have amazing people on. But it's been so fun to record this pod on break because 3 previous breaks we've tried to figure out how do we get to this point, and now like with the podcast we're at the point where people are downloading this all over the world.
We really want you to reach out, Ghana. I'm just saying.
We got a swag bag for you, Ghana. All right. Well, as we always say, if you can be anything in the world, be kind. And for all of you, just keep changing the world. Now, if you loved hearing stories about Mrs. Scofield being held up at gunpoint at Camp Pendleton, make sure you follow us on Twitter where you can see all those photos, all those videos, see our students' work. So you can find me at Mr. Lane, the STEM guy.
And me, Mackenzie Lane.
And me at a positive proton.